Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Greg Hectus.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, my rig's in pieces, Brad Wren.
My rig is not in pieces, and well, yours is.
Mine's not either, just so in case everybody's wondering.
On today's show, find out what was fixed in the first patch of the 2026 Season 2 build. The iRacing forums have been busy during Week 13. More Expo announcements. Sim Magic releases its Evo Ultra wheel. Is SimLab getting closer to their release? A DIY belt tensioner from a listener. More Moza motion information. Find out how to stay hydrated during these long races.
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
Okay, Greg, we got 2026 Season 1 numbers have been published.
Yeah, so on the iRacing official Instagram page, they posted the Season 1 stats. So what do we have? Unranked races, they had over 38,000 unranked and 534,000 ranked races. Another ridiculous number, 161,000 hosted events. Total events of 734,000. There's a total of 287,000 drivers, almost 288,000 drivers, unique drivers, and a total of 10,000. 10 million? 10.7 million, I guess. Laps completed, 195 million laps, and 400 million miles complete. And
Wait a minute. The one that throws me off that you called out was the total drivers, 10,700,000. What does that mean? That means like I raced 7 times this month, so they count me 7 times?
Yeah, so you had over 10 million driver entries across the 734,000 events.
And there was a total of 287 logged in different people into iRacing, I guess, or accounts, right?
Yeah, unique driver.
All those active accounts, right? Because they're racing within this current quarter. That's a pretty big number.
It is. So, I'm curious, what do you think? What's the average cost to host something? Out of curiosity, what do you think?
It's like $2, isn't it?
I don't even know.
$2?
I haven't hosted a race. I don't know if I've ever done it.
But it's less than $2.
Okay, so if it's $1, okay, it's $1 to host an event. 161,000. Hello.
Hosted events, right?
That's a lot of money.
So does that even that would include practice rooms for the majors and things like that stuff too, right?
Yeah. I mean, wow.
But what's a monthly subscription on iRacing?
It'd be as low as about $8.
So 8 times, so maybe
287,000. There you go.
But then you times that by 3 months.
Right. They made a nice quarter. There's some definite revenue going on here, as Brad alluded to with the hosted events. I also noticed hosted is about 7% of all races. And so official is really where it's at. That's where everybody's running. Okay, guys. Brad, we have the iRacing diecast. I threw this in the group chat, and I thought this might be one of the best paint jobs I've ever seen.
I like it. I don't know if I'd say it's the best you've ever seen or I've ever seen, but no, it's nice. We talked about this. It's got the blend. It's not just NASCAR 25. You do have the iRacing on there, so that's cool. And that's Raja Caruth. Raja's a big iRacer, so no, it's cool. I'm glad to see them spend a little bit of that 161,000 hosted events on some advertising.
So that's on the other. That's not the junior car. That's the other company he's driving for, right?
Yeah, Jordan Anderson.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It caught my eye right off the bat with the NASCAR logo colors, going across, which, are part of the NASCAR 25 logo. But I don't know, it speaks to me as a NASCAR fan more than a NASCAR 25 fan, just because of that. And then I love the black and gray kind of background on it. But then the classic iRacing logo on the hood, gotta love it.
Is that like the Gray Ghost car?
No, whole completely different scheme.
Well, I just mean like the color scheme.
Yeah, I mean it was more of a silver
Yeah.
metallic silver on the Gray Ghost. Looks. I mean, I think that when I think back to the race, this was more of a flat silver, maybe.
Do we have any? Is this the first? This isn't the first diecast we could get with iRacing on something, is it?
No, I don't think so. But this is definitely, if you're a diecast person and you like iRacing, ooh, this post is from Lionel, and the pre-orders are open to buy this particular car. So yeah, you probably want this.
I like diecast, and I'm curious how much it is.
They've
You would think
gotten
that you
the
would think that the link in here would actually take you to it, but oh no.
the the diecasts have gotten a lot more expensive over the years.
Search Raja on their site. Now, while you're looking up that price, I'll do a quick hit. The next one is the 2026 Season 2 video version of the development update blog. And look, that development blog is a wall of text, and a lot of people don't have that attention span these days. And so this is a good way to digest it if you haven't actually read the text. Um, just play the video, watch it, listen to it, and you'll get it. A good refresh of what we got in this season. So.
I really wish it wouldn't take them a week after though to release it. I think if you released it on the week of, it would be kind of a little bit more helpful. But they still at least get it out.
Or put them out at the same time. The
Well,
Yeah,
blog,
yeah,
the actual
yeah,
blog, and the video.
well, the
yeah.
nice. Oh, go ahead, Bren.
Well, I was going to say. I mean, the voiceover is almost Greg just completely reading what he's posted in the blog anyway.
The nice thing what we like, Brad and I were talking before the podcast here about. I was looking at the stuff at the end where they're talking about future stuff that they're doing, and I was telling him, I'm thinking the way they're talking there with the graphics engine, that's not anytime soon.
Hashtag soon.
All right, so pre-order 1/24th, $70 or 80 for the autographed. So that's not bad, really.
So
That's
it's
the
like
only size.
so it's like $600 Canadian.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, they got a 1/64. That's 1175, but I don't do 1/64, so I don't know. I'm gonna leave this page up here. The autograph one maybe end up being pre-ordered here before too long. Thanks for spending my money, Mike.
You spent my money last week, so
Is your
That's
wife
right, I
is your
did.
wife on Facebook watching this?
No, I think she's on the phone with my daughter.
all right. Next up is it time for a refresh? Ask Vitor Vinati in the Vinati. I can't say it right. In the forums, he posted up. It's time for a Nurburgring Nordschleife refresh. He points out a recent video by this guy. Oh, I forget his name. Mission. Uh, anyway, he has a YouTube video embedded into the forum post from this guy that shows off the different changes at the Nurburgring lately, where they've basically have put the wall closer to the track in some cases, and put down some pavement instead of grass in some areas along the wall, and just minor changes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a video on here a few weeks ago about that. I think I think it was a girl that was doing it or something. But yeah, I just don't see these as major enough to need a rescan. I mean, I don't know. I don't run the track enough. I mean, I know that there's different versions, between iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and set of course competition and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just don't think there's been a ton of change.
So a
But
set of
it's a major
It's
undertaking. I mean, it's a huge undertaking.
but is it a factor right now because those games have updated stuff and then iRacing is just it's got the old
Yes,
an
that's
older
what I was
version.
gonna say. Yeah, we have the oldest version out there, okay? And so and look, we just talked about 287,000 active accounts. This is one of the most popular series on the service. I've said it over and over. It's gotta be in the top 5, and so for them not to give it love, give it love. It's time. Let's get an update on it. Okay, Brad, what's this qualifying trick?
Yeah, we got a Instagram post here from Mateo Kunzer, whatever. I just butchered that. Sorry, Mateo. It talks about how to get tire warmers on iRacing. So I wouldn't call this a hidden iRacing qualifying trick. So what happens is in qualifying, you're going to start with warmer tire temps. It's always the case. But if you, as we see in the video here, he spins it on his out lap or maybe his first lap on a qualifying run. Well, if you do that and you reset the car, what ends up happening is if you just reset and then jump right back in, your tires are going to be at the cold temp. So here it's 39 degrees Celsius versus the 50 in qualifying. The trick is if before you reset, if you jump back in the garage, load the setup, and then come back in, you'll be back to the 50. But like I was telling Greg, we were talking about this before. If you've spun on your out lap, you've just killed a lap. So you've already lost a lap as it is. So and you're not going to get the tires back up to temp that quick. I would not consider this a trick because it really takes a full lap and even come into your second really to get your tires up to temp. So yes, this could save you a little bit if you do spin, but don't go out and try this thinking that you're going to get some sort of magic warmer tires.
All right. William Westbrook, thanks for jumping in. How about
Hello,
you
hello.
tell us about Grid Chief?
All right, where are we at? Sorry, I'm just catching up.
Grid Chief.
Alrighty, yeah. So this is, and I haven't had a ton of time to play with it, even though it looks intriguing. Basically, a replacement for your standing spreadsheets for your leagues. Again, I haven't played with it. I did read it the other day when I saw it on the script. It's got some preset points like NASCAR and F1. I don't think it has the ability to do custom points quite yet because that's what we would need for grassroots because we split the GT3 into AM and Pro. So I don't think this is going to be too useful for us, but it looks pretty good. Like everything with iRacing, it looks like they're going to give you a free tier and then kind of charge you for some premium features on it. I'll report back more when I've actually had a chance to play with it. But I mean, honestly, a guy in our league spent a lot of time and he did a lot of good work. He made a website that tracks our custom points, and we're in a really good spot for that. So I don't know if I'm gonna put too much time into this, but for people out there who just have some basic stuff, you don't do any custom points or just you're a single class league, maybe it looks to be a pretty useful thing for you.
Yeah, some of the stuff that you can, I just think from, many years ago running in our 2003 league, some of the stuff where you spent a lot of time was getting pages, doing your standings pages and doing all that stuff. And a lot of this, it pretty much just, I guess, somewhat exports it, Discord integration, a public standings pages, driver stats and analytics, all that stuff. So, I mean, there's so much stuff that just takes a lot of time. If it works well, then, like you said, William, if you're not using any sort of complicated point system or, maybe at some point they do allow you to do something, custom, but, there's a lot of busy work on the back end of running a league.
There
A
it
lot of
is.
people just don't understand how much time goes into it.
Yep. Yeah, the incident reporting looked interesting to me because they have a spot where apparently you can upload replay files. That's going to get expensive for storage pretty quick unless they purge them pretty often. I'm wondering how they're going to do that because I looked at doing something similar, but yeah, I'll take a look. I'll give it a shot and look at it. But
It says it has this full point system builder, so does that mean you can customize it? I guess.
Yeah, but I don't. Where a lot of these things have problems, and again, I haven't had a chance to do a deep dive yet. But where a lot of these trackers have problems, and ones I've tried to build myself, and other ones is when you split a iRacing class into two, like we do. We do a GT3 Pro, we do a GT3 AM. It's the same class in iRacing. So when I export my results to this page, it generally breaks it. Now, again, they might have fixed it. Like I said, I'll dive in, but that's generally where you have problems.
Yeah, it would be nice to. I mean, I would love to be able to see iRacing do some other sort of, where you could do class splits and hosted. Would be really nice. I mean, I know in grassroots racing, you guys have to use the tag a pro. I ran in some other leagues through the years and had to do the same thing because that's really the only way you can tell. One, when you're on track, and then two, when you're doing standings and stuff. But it would be nice if you could somehow flag drivers into certain classes. It would be so much easier.
Yep.
Seems like an easy fix. Like let the admin of the league put a little icon or emoji that's next to the driver name, and so they have an emoji that's for the pro.
Yeah, it should be fairly simple, but I guarantee you something way far down on the list of iRacing's priorities.
All right, this next one is exciting. Max Verstappen is taking on the 24-hour, or he's not taking on the 24 hours yet, but they are going to run a race at the Nürburgring. And this is a watch along party with Redline, and so that's a tie in with iRacing. So his iRacing team hosting on Twitch a watch along party, so that's cool. And I
Yeah,
think I'll try to check it out.
They have
yeah,
multiple streams.
yep. So you should be able to have the opportunity to watch most of the, pick up anywhere to watch the race. The official Nürburgring YouTube channel, ADAX, also, and then Auto Addiction. So yeah, pretty cool.
I know.
Hope you do.
I know William's going to be tuning into this.
I mean, I'll watch it. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I don't have a problem watching him race
What, his
other
first
things.
race of the year?
I just can't watch him in F1 because he drives me nuts.
What'd you say, Mike? First race of the year for him?
Yeah, this is his first race of the year, right?
It'll be the first race he gets points, right?
First race.
The first race that they're racing.
I wonder if he
I'm
can
not-
start this race from and not go to the back of the grid to start it.
Well, it could be like McLaren and just, not even, well, never mind.
Is it a big deal that he's in a AMG Mercedes and Mercedes factory team? I mean, is he going to be replacing George Russell or something like that?
I read an article today that they're not even interested anymore because because they have a competitive car. They were looking for a competitive driver if they didn't have a competitive car, but now their car is probably going to dominate even whoever they put in it.
I don't see him staying around for forever in F1. I think he's gonna if the car stays in the current state it is, he's not. It's not racing. I think it's a pretty much a crap show right now.
He might end up in WEC or something.
Well, as bad as they've messed this car up, and you put watching it behind Apple TV, it was a perfect storm to absolutely destroy F1. The popularity was rising, and then it's like NASCAR. Hey, we're doing great. Watch this. Smash.
Apple TV broadcasts have been fantastic. Don't bash them.
I think he's just bashing the fact that you got to pay for it. Not it's behind the paywall.
You gotta pay for everything these days.
I don't mind paying for stuff, but look, I can watch the 8-minute YouTube recap, and I know exactly what happened in the race.
Yeah, that's pretty much how
The batteries died, and somebody passed each other.
And some cars didn't even start the race.
What a disaster for McLaren. They can't even get their cars to start the race. That's...
Good old champions, eh?
All right, Brad, can we make them more special?
Yeah. So continue along with like I said, the forums were super busy this during week 13. Had a post here from Jackson Freer. So special events are some of the biggest races of the year, and I, like many of you, look forward to each event. Some of these are the crown jewels, but does feel like we could do a better job of capturing the magic and some of the prestige of the races. So It's got a couple ideas here. Longer qualifying, I would suggest this for two reasons. First, from a pragmatic level, GT3 tires don't get up to the optimal temperature in 2 laps. I agree with that. I'm good with that. 20-minute qualifying time with unlimited laps. Okay, maybe that's not bad. Second, full formation laps. Not a huge proponent of this, as I don't think we need to do a full formation lap at the Nürburgring. That would be quite horrible. But yeah, I mean, I think they could do some things to make them more special. First of all, maybe like when it's the Daytona 500, you announce it more than 3 days before it's going to run. That would kind of be a good thing to start with.
Why don't they make it worth something more, like double the I rating, or 3 times the I rating, or 3 times the safety
Ooh.
rating?
That'd break the formula,
Oh
though.
my gosh! Look, people have a hard time driving when you can get regular I
But we
rating.
could get some guy from rookie all the way up to A in one race. I want that to happen.
So look, how about some complimentary iRacing credits, for the podium finishers in
I
each
would
event?
No, because then you're gonna have tankers, and then you're gonna have a guy that's fast in the bottom split.
The protests are gonna be through the roof. You start putting stuff like that in here.
But what could they do honestly? Could it? I've thought, you got most of them. You end up with the four start times. Do you limit each person to one start? You got one chance.
No, I think that would suck because wouldn't you think, someone's having bad, like, I hate to use David as an example. He's having a rough time in racing. Like, if he's having a rough week, at least let him keep going and trying again. Especially if he got wrecked in like the first lap or something.
Let him spiral, keep spiraling.
Yeah, I'm generally not a person that says, "Oh, we wrecked, let's go to the next time slot." But like Greg said, if you get taken out, no fault of your own on lap 1, turn 1, you know what? I was looking forward to this event for who knows how long. I'm probably gonna go to the next time slot because that just sucks. But yeah, I don't know the answer.
Maybe they could get your certificate printed like the same week that the event happens that you win it, Mike. Maybe that'll be the thing for it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I found my certificate finally. The Daytona 500 win.
I do think the qualifying though would be good. I mean, look, you're already, most of these have got what do we have usually a longer warm up and all of that. So why not? Even if you did a 10-minute qualifying on most of them would be fine. You could at least get 4 laps in, maybe. Maybe a 15-minute. I don't know. It would be nice to do that. I don't know. I'm not opposed to the way they do the IndyCar.
That's what I was just gonna say.
500. Why not have some prequal, and then that's what would help. You can set by I rating, but then you load in, and that's where you're at. I mean, to me, that would be pretty cool too. If you're registered, but then you got to try to. That's probably even more complicated for them because then you'd have to try to do the team stuff. Oh my gosh, never mind.
Do you realize that that's how everything was done at one point, where qualifying was not part of the session?
They always had separate.
It was always separate, so you qualified during the week, and that time would be always your qualifying to go into the next until you got a faster one.
We still do that at the Nürburgring. All right, next up, listener on the Discord channel sent this in. Stay thirsty, my friends. It's a TikTok from Makun Gaming, and he shows off his latest addition to his cockpit, and he's got the nice, looks like a dash. He's got the window net. He's got the whole thing. He's even got the driver's suit, but he turns to his right, and he's actually got a beer tap. He's got beer available on tap right there.
What? This reminds me of isn't the Talladega Nights the guy sipping like tea or coffee or espresso when he's driving?
Yeah.
So when you watch the whole video, he's got a sim room.
I love
this
his
is the
rig.
cockpit. Well, his cockpit's all enclosed, like in a box kind of thing.
So hot. It'd be so
for
hot in there.
blackout. Oh yeah, and then he's got like a child cockpit. It looks like for a baby. I saw at the corner.
If I remember correctly, I think this guy actually was either an LMP3 or an LMP2 driver. So that's why he built the cockpit the way he did.
And do they have beer in the real cockpit? Oh,
No, you can't drink and drive, Mike. And if you watch the videos, he comes out of the pits, he wrecks it. So there you go, kids. Don't drink and drive.
okay, Brad. Critical AI issue.
So got a forum post here from Jesus Ortiz. So as a huge IndyCar fan, I was thrilled to see St. Pete join the service, but unfortunately, the AI experience has been quite disappointing so far. He said the main issue lies in the AI racing line. Too frequently, and I mean consistently, the AI clips the inside wall at turn 3, breaking their steering and forcing them to pit for repairs. Yeah, I mean, the AI has to be trained. I don't know if it's the way I don't know if it is how it used to be. I mean, way back in the day when when we would build AI files, like for NASCAR 2003, and really think up to that, you created 3 lines. You go out and drive it, you record it. You know, you have line 1, line 2, line 3. So I don't know. Maybe we need to get Fred out and have him retrain them and get them to stop clipping the walls. But hey, if they're destroying their cars, that sounds like an easy win to me.
Sounds realistic to me. Didn't Scott McLaughlin do the same thing during his race?
Yeah, but not every car. It sounds like there's only what 2 cars left, him and another car.
So all the AI cars are doing it.
So
Okay,
the AI car, so the AI car that didn't do it, they need to hit that guy and program whatever his was.
look, this points out a big negative I have with iRacing AI. These AI are on a rail, like a train is on a rail. Okay, it looks very unrealistic to me because they never deviate from
Oh,
the line.
and that's what I'm saying, Mike. If it's still the way that it was years ago, you literally created 3 different paths. So you think about an oval, you'd have an outside, inside, and a middle and an inside. And there was some deviation that they would do depending, but that's how you did it. So again, I would hope that it's more complex than that now. I mean, they've talked over and over again about how they tried to make improvements with the AI to get it to act more realistic, to to race a little bit harder and stuff like that. And I don't ever use the AI. I have no use for it. But yeah, it's not a thing I use, so I can't speak to exactly how they perform.
William, more week 13 complaints.
Yeah, this guy wrote a really long forum post, but the gist of it is removing the ranked A and B series. He says really hurts participation during week 13, gives people nothing to do. And we've heard this before, right? It is what it is. I'm sure the iRacing guys like a break during week 13. Week 13 is generally a week where I just don't do anything, right? Maybe some hosted, maybe some leagues, but none of that interests me, so I go find something else to do. Sorry.
But didn't they add more ranked races this week
There's
13?
tons of stuff to do. Yeah,
Yeah, they added a few. Remember exactly what they were because I didn't go do them, but yeah, there was more than normal this week.
there
Last week.
was.
Yeah, I mean, I think we hit on. I don't know if we hit on a post this last week or not. I mean, there was one. I don't think we did. It was one forum post. The guy was complaining, that he's wasted his $13 because he can't drive his car on this week, and it was just on and on and on. And it's like, come on, man. I like week 13. Do I like not having opportunities to race? No, but at the same time, yes, because I can do other stuff, and it's good to take a break every now and then. That's what you need to use week 13 for. Blow off some steam, take a break, do something different, clean your rig, do something. I mean, just we need a break after 12 solid weeks. It's nice to have a break here or there.
That's right. It's a net for a long-term sim racer. It is a perfect just okay, I need to step away for a moment. And then when you come back, you're refreshed, you're ready to go. So take that opportunity to like do what Brad said. Now, I guess Pablo here is new to the service or newish, and he doesn't understand what week 13 really is for.
What it
So I'll
used to
take
be
a
for.
moment. Well, I'm going to take a moment and tell everyone the real reason behind it. It has to do with software development. And software development projects work in cycles. And so what they do is they're developing for 12 weeks. They release what they developed. and then they have a week during that release to fix critical bugs and issues during that week before they start up again on the next project. And so it's always 12 weeks of development, 1 week to release, repeat.
Now, Mike, the other thing that it used to be about was it was your graduation week for licensing before they started doing fast license. So like you had one more week. Your week 12 is the week you try and either keep it at where it's at and not race, or you have a last ditch effort to get a couple races in to do it. That's what it used to be back in the early days too.
So I was sharing in the chat with you guys about this guy who was grinding SR over week 13, trying to get his licenses up before the cutover. And he is in his Instagram stories, he had run 10, 12 hours, Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And then I think on Monday, he was actually offering somebody $100 on his Instagram stories to go run time trials for him on his account.
Is anybody glad that David didn't take Mike up and trying to get him to do that?
I said, David, here's some easy money.
The way David's week's gone, that guy would have screwed him over.
But yeah, so week 13 is about the software development. Look, now why is this good for sim racers? Because we're getting continual updates all the time that never end. It's always getting fixed. It's always going to get better. And so week 13 is a godsend because of that. I always look back at how iRacing got started, and people like John Henry who put up his personal money to make it work. I mean, without him, we would not be doing this.
We would not. So speaking of the purpose of week 13, what do you got? You got something else?
I was just gonna say, are we on to the ignition part here? Are we down that far? Am I gone too far?
Yeah. So
sorry, my bad.
That's okay. So week 13, again, opportunity to figure out bugs and fixes and all that. So look, Monday we had the first patch of this season before the week 1 even started. So a bunch of stuff was fixed in the paint shop. Some simulation stuff, AI stuff was worked on. Apparently, the racing skills at St. Pete have been improved, so hopefully that's been fixed. Some audio issues, some rain sounds, some graphic stuff, some more user interface stuff. Looks like they cleaned up some of the UI stuff. We had a few issues of things kind of not landing where they're supposed to and whatnot, and then some of the car stuff that was done. So it looked like some damage modeling, some rebalancing on some of the GTE cars. Again, they just had the big update. Let's see, a few track issues as well. So this is the stuff that that pops up either during week 13, like the AI issue, or there's stuff typically that did not get in the actual build. We talk all the time. It's like, well, how do you release a track without a flagger? Well, for whatever reason, it didn't get in there, and that's the stuff that usually gets fixed pretty quick. So again, that's the reason for week 13, like Mike said.
Well, look, they don't let the project go long. They have to put something out in 12 weeks, no matter what. And so you either get it done or it's going to be in a patch later, kind of thing. So they never extend the main release. It's always on the 13th week.
We do have a week 14 every 2 years.
Oh yeah, to throw off the calendar. Yeah.
Yes. All right, Greg, what's up with the ignition?
So, Gary McPherson posted in the forums he's having a problem with the ignition switch after, I guess, he reset his PC. The Windows control panel, he can see the switch that he has is flipping on his gamepad and it lights up. But for some reason, when he's in iRacing, the ignition flips the switch, turns on the car, but turns it off, the flip toggle down and then back up again. I was having this problem the other day. Like, I'm trying to see if it's the exact same thing from what he's saying here, but my toggle would work one time when I'm trying to save fuel, and then it won't work at all for a while. It would take a while. So
that's my problem.
Nope. In the Cup car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they 2 or 3 seasons ago they made the change where you had to be in order to cut the ignition off, you had to be at pit road speed or below.
Really?
Yeah, it's completely unrealistic, but that's what they did. Apparently, I guess there was some games being played at maybe the eNASCAR level, but yeah, so that was changed.
Because I used to
Gosh,
I used to flip it off going into the corner when I was under races
right.
and save fuel.
Yep, doesn't work anymore. You had to be
Damn
at
it!
or pace speed. Yep, does nothing. So there's nothing wrong with your
Okay,
switch.
sorry. Then I
No, I
just
think
didn't understand it.
this is the same thing I have though on with my starter. I'll get in the cup car on grid and I'll go and toggle up the on button. The dash will stay dark, dark, dark 10, 15 seconds and then it lights up and then I can push the start button. There's like a delay. I can't figure it out.
Uh, have you tried setting another button to the ignition just to make sure it's not something going on with the actual ignition
I
button?
haven't, but check this out. I get in another car, it works like a charm. It works like it should.
That's okay. If Mike flips up the ignition anyways, if he presses the gas, it's not
Well,
going
I
to
just
go
put it on
anywhere.
auto start. Look, I can't trust it, so I put it on auto start for that car and
It's not
just
good.
ignore the problem.
It's not going to go anywhere if you press gas anyways right now, right, Mike?
Nope.
All right, so get back to the post here. Apparently, what ended up being the issue was this is from Gary McPherson. Said after having to reset his PC, it doesn't work as it did before. You flip it on, but then it would go right back off. It says apparently you've got to register it as a latching switch when you map the button. So look, I mean, the way an ignition switch should work is it's not a momentary thing. It's there's on and then there's off. So it's got to be a. It's
Flip
not
up,
a.
flip down, like a light switch.
Yeah, that's the way it should work. So either the switch has to actually be like that, or if you're using like a Stream Deck, it's got to be coded. Whether either whatever the iRace IT, iRace Deck, or whatever IR Deck, whatever you're using, the way that they code the button allows it to work that way.
What's the fix? Remap the button to map it the right way?
I guess, or I don't know. I've never had an issue. I mean, I I have my ignition control box and I flip the ignition switch on, it stays on, and then if I want to turn it off, I turn it off. I've never had an issue.
What's funny is you and I have the same box, same switch, same hardware. Mine behaves differently than yours, but
Yeah, I don't understand, and it doesn't make no sense why it would do it in one car and do it not do it in something else. I mean, literally, as soon as I flip mine up, the dash comes on and it just sits there and waits for me to actually hit the ignition button, hit the start button.
contest time. We got Kim Berry put out season 2 2026 contests are live with great prizes from companies like Ace Sim Shop, Falcon Tire, and SimLab. I don't ever participate because I run trading paints, I guess. So
Yeah, I say these are cool every time we talk about them, and then this is the last time I ever think about them. So hopefully I'll do better this season.
Well, you'd have to not run trading paints. Remember, we've had that discussion multiple times, so no trading paints.
I think we should talk about it longer again. I think we haven't beat that horse yet.
I don't know. They had a different person do the forum post, so maybe that's why this one didn't as much like the last one did.
Yeah, if you are going to do them, though, just make sure you pay attention to the details. A couple of them are Europe only. So just make sure you read the instructions.
Fine print? What?
Yeah, I know, such a thing.
all right, Brad, tell us about Sim Gaming Expo.
Yep, we had a few announcements this week. Looks like these are gonna start kind of coming in. This is kind of the same thing we went through last year, as Jorge started to get stuff finalized. So the first one, we've got a special guest announcement: the High Alpha Hooligans. So this
David's
is,
gonna like those guys. Those are deep.
so these are DSC pilots,
Yeah.
industry insiders, delivering unfiltered conversations about combat flight sims and stuff like that. So that's good. It's one of the things we talked about last year was somewhat expected that the first year was going to be very heavy on the sim racing, and hopefully we'll get some more of the gamers, more of the sim gaming in there. Second one, another special guest announcement, Zach B Racing. So he'll be there as well. He's I guess, a streamer, Twitch streamer, most prominent figure in the iRacing MX5 community. So we also got exhibitor announcement, DOF Reality. They were there last year. We spent some time with them and talked to them. So motion rigs.
We'll be there a lot.
Yep, a little bit different approach as opposed to the traditional D-box style. This is more of a centerpiece. Would work for racing and for flight sims as well. And then there's a new partnership been announced. So this is going to be this is Mike Sim Racing is partnering with the Expo, so that's good. And then also we've got CM20, Casket Man 20 is another streamer. Is going to be there as well.
Truck and farming simmer.
Oh, there you go, Greg.
I hope they bring some more stuff this year. I really do. Like, they had some flight stuff, so I'm hoping that that's improved a bit more. And I just hope that with this expanded space that they get more of the sim aspect of it all, like you were saying, Brad.
Yeah, that's the hope. I mean, we've said before he's basically about double the size of the expo space for this coming September. So we're still working on getting stuff finalized on our end. We're planning to be there again, just like we were last year. So excited for that. And then also we've got the Sim Racing Expo in Charlotte over Memorial Day weekend. So a few more announcements. VRS will be there along with Podium One as well. Will be there as exhibitors. So I saw an Instagram post. I think right now there are 40 plus exhibitors planning to be there. So that's good. Again, that'll be at the Charlotte Convention Center. Looking forward to that as well.
So look, with Podium One showing up there, they always bring the big kahunas, as I say, title idea, but they bring those big $100,000 rigs, the motion rigs, the Driven Dynamics and the Spider and all those other ones. So that's going to be great for everyone who attends. You'll be able to try those things. They are awesome. They are so fun. All right, and then we go into events. We'll talk about the Sebring 12 hours, March 27th through the 29th. Put that on your calendar. Are you guys planning a car, I presume?
Yep. We'll be running GT3, so probably 4 of us. So, yep, same 4 that ran Daytona. So looking forward to that.
And David, me, Kyle, and who else am I? I'm missing one. But yeah, there's 4 of us running. Tom, that's it. Tom's, the 4 of us are running a GTP.
All right, good. Then we have the IMSA Classic 500 special event on the calendar, which had moved to Laguna Seca from Road America, and there was a lot of noise on the calendar, on the forum post about that move of track. I don't know why, but a lot of people didn't like the track change.
Well, I kind of understand it because I think, are they doing the 6 hours of Road America for IMSA?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so that's probably why you don't want 2 specials at
Road America.
Road America. So that makes perfect sense.
Doesn't that car would be? Those cars would be ridiculous on Laguna Seca though too.
Now, I digress a little. These cars you're referring to, one of them is the Audi GTO 90. And I actually did try that after the release because apparently they did update those cars significantly. And I ran it at the ring and I was pleasantly surprised. Look, I think it's one of my favorite cars in iRacing, 100%. And then this week in iRacing, Brad.
Yeah, most of the normal stuff's back in swing. I do want to mention that the IndyCar iRacing Series week 3 is a St. Pete, so this was a schedule change. I think with St. Pete being released, there was something else. I think maybe Long Beach would have been as a placeholder or something, but that was changed. So yeah, everything
it was
else
supposed to be Lime Rock.
sorry, Lime Rock, yeah. So, I guess they put that in there as a placeholder just in case they hadn't gotten St. Pete out. But yeah, a couple of weeks late, but at least you do get to run it, so that's good.
Podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find our podcast. Please mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Check out our Discord. Get involved in the discussion. Like this week, we were spending Coyote's money over there. He bought a nice oval rim, I believe, and somebody else got a Sim Magic Ultra base and was giving us a lowdown. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in the Discord. Our website, iRacersLounge.com. Come check out our show notes, guys. Lots to look at there. And Performance Motorsports Network, we're in regular rotation. And merchandise, iRacersLounge.shop. Okay, Vegas, fantasy.
Well, all right. So the Cup Series rolled into Las Vegas this past week. In the iRacers Lounge Podcast Fantasy League, we had a five-way tie for first spot.
What?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. We've had a couple before, but yeah, the top 10 was pretty interesting this week. So, top first we had Kalen, TG1 Racing, Boats and Hose, Mike Wuju, and then Shane 7272. All five of them scored 279 points. In sixth place was Dollar Cents. Had tied for seventh, BL Platinum 3 and the Faster Will at 271 points. And then tied for ninth, we had Fat Man Little Goat and Matt Robb 40. So yeah, rather interesting shake up with the points.
And so, what do we think of the racing there with the package and everything?
I think it was a typical Vegas race. I mean, Vegas does not typically. It's not going to give us the thrill of Charlotte and stuff like that. I thought it was a fine race. I mean, it played out organically, which is kind of nice. It wasn't the caution chaos of Phoenix and probably what we're going to see this weekend at Darlington. You saw dominant cars come from the back, go to the front. Toyotas were quick. Looks like Hendrick has probably started to figure out the new body. The rest of the Chevy teams are like just way out to lunch, unfortunately. Not a good day for them. The Fords, other than RFK, Penske was nowhere to be seen. Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know. I mean, I love Vegas in the sim. But it's Vegas. It's good racing. It's just never been, I just don't think you're going to get the, edge of your seat, standing up all the time, yelling and screaming like you will some other places.
The track hasn't worn out. It just doesn't seem to wear out. It's not much different from the years it got when it got repaved.
I mean,
it's not progressing like Atlanta does.
No, and you would think maybe in that environment, I would think that maybe it would, but I guess because you probably got more of a constant temperature as opposed to the
Dry
big
climate.
yeah, as opposed to the big swings that you get, on the East Coast, Atlanta, for example. You get the warm and you get the cold and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. I mean, sometimes not every race can be a barn burner, and I think unfortunately people have gotten conditioned that that's what they want, and I don't want to see I'd rather see something play out organically than see some sort of manipulated chaos like we have through the years.
Well, it could have gone a lot worse if Denny Hamlin probably didn't speed. He probably dominates that. We have even worse talk about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, it was a good story though that he won, got his 61st, and
his family was all there.
He, finally bypasses Harvick on the all-time win list, and yeah, to have his family there and his daughter being emotional and all that, his mom, who just lost her husband in a tragic fire. And so there's all this family tragedy, and it's kind of nice to see him, rebound from that. And like he hasn't missed a beat, he's and I think he's got that confidence, he's got that swagger. Could this be the year he finally closes the deal? I don't know.
We've been saying that for 20 years. I mean, it's what it is. But nah, look, he's for the age that he's at, he's bumped the trend of, once you get to a certain point, you start to decline. He's still winning races. Look, at the next, we got Darlington, which he's very good at. We got Martinsville. I mean, the next couple races set up very good for him. So, yeah, I mean, look, he moves into the top 10 win list. Like you said, bumps Harvick out. And he's 61 now. I think he could probably end in the high 60s and maybe even hit 70 if he runs for 2 more years. He's going to, he can win 4 or 5 races every year.
He said he would reach 67. That's what he called out this week. That's his call out.
It's probably the best over under right now. Probably if you took out like odds, it'd be 67 would probably be the number.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're gonna roll into Darlington this week. Darlington, with a mile and a third, and we're gonna run the short track package. So extra, got 750 horsepower, no rear diffuser or very little rear diffuser. I know that us that have run it on the sim have already seen the difference that there is. It's a handful. You can definitely feel the speed difference, and the grip is gone. So, from what I've heard, Denny talking, some other drivers talking, they're expecting up to 4 seconds of fall off with this tire.
What?
You imagine green flag stops if someone stays out long.
Yeah, I know. So it should be interesting. I think it's probably going to be a bunch of guys slipping and sliding around, I hope. Look, the harder these things are to drive, that's the better the racing is, and I'm good with that. So, yeah, it should be interesting. And this is only 400 laps, so this isn't the, we'll have the 400 miles. We'll have the 500, the Southern 500 later in the year. But, yeah, it should be interesting. So as we head out, overall standings, we've got Race Addict in the lead with 1126. Second is Connor Truman. Shout out to Bobby Jonas. So B Jonas 71 is in third. We've got fourth is Kalen. Fifth is BL Platinum. And yeah, there you go. So we'll roll into Darlington.
All right, hardware, software. William, is this too bougie?
100%. I think this is even not Spin Mike's money territory. There is Aologs. I'm sorry, I was trying to remember the company. They have a motorized seat and pedal tray mover thing, slider, whatever you want to call it. You know what? It might be nice to have that for your pedals. Just hit a button and move them up, forward, and backwards, but not for $980. Ooh, no, thank you. My $30 seat slider will do just fine.
I just don't understand. You gotta add maybe two more plugs, to your whole setup.
Yeah. Yeah, my power's just full.
I was like, I've got enough power. I got 2 power strips, and they're full.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's looking at running an extension cord to the neighbor's house to look for more power.
Right. And there's so much, there's a big old control box and everything. There's 2 of them actually. And you got to put these down under your rig and then it increased the height of the pedals of the seat. And so you'd have to compensate for that. And there's so many things wrong here. I like Aologs. They make a great shifter, but I don't know about this product.
Some things. This is
stay in your lane.
Well, no, this is trying to fix a problem that's not there.
Brad, the debate continues with Daniel Morad.
Yeah, so we got a video here from Daniel Morad. Looking at the VR versus triples. What pro drivers actually use. So Daniel makes the case for VR immersion, natural driving. Depth perception, speed is better. It gives you a much more natural sense of speed and the natural sense of depth. Ease of use for beginners. VR is an amazing tool for those who struggle with the disconnect between 2D screens. Where VR is going to give you more of that 3D immersion, and then ultimate realism. So when paired, with a motion system, belt tensioner, and all that, he admits that it makes a wild experience that will trick the brain into believing that you're actually in the car. But as a real world driver, so the real reasons he doesn't use VR, it's an inconvenience and blindness. One of the biggest drawbacks is for him, he can't see his physical buttons, wheel control, second monitors, or any of that stuff. So if you're trying to manage pit stops, engineering, doing stuff like that, live stream, all that stuff is just too hard to do. I know, David's not on the show tonight. I know David's got, he's memorized, where his buttons are on his button box and all that stuff. And I imagine you would get used to that if you're in VR. But heat and eye fatigue, it says even after only 20 to 30 minutes, just report significant eye strain and some uncomfortable heat around his eyes. Again, there's guys that do this. Davis does this, for hours at a time. I guess just get used to it. For me, I just don't think I could. Some of the performance and jitter. He says even with a high NPC, he's got a 5090. He did experience some frame drops, some frame rate drops. So for him, that was an issue. And then just some of the practicality, from content creation. So conclusion and recommendations. He concludes that while VR may be the closest thing to the real car for short bursts or learning to judge speed, he still thinks triple screens remain the professional or the end game, just due to the practicality. Look, I'm a triple screen user. I like that. To me, that is gives me the most natural feeling of where things are. And I have stuff that I like to use, and that's why we add stuff to our rigs because I want to be able to see it. And I deal with vertigo, so the idea of trying to do VR, most people can make them motion sickness. I'm very susceptible to motion sickness, so even in when I got back into sim racing 2 years ago, the first month or so, even back on triples, I'd take it easy because I was getting nauseous just because of the vertigo.
We gotta
And
get your wife to substitute drive for you.
no, just getting back into it because again, it tricks your head, it tricks your brain. So yeah, I just don't think I'd love to try it, but it's not something I'm going to go out and buy because I just don't think I would enjoy it.
Too hot, too hot, too hot. That's the bottom line for me. I'm already hot as it is, and so to say
I
it's
love
going to be
you.
hotter, yeah. All right, I got this one. The Evo Ultra finally arrives. We actually have 4 videos on this from 4 sim content creators, and so we'll just kind of hit on some of the conclusions here. But Dan Suzuki, he describes it as one of the strongest feeling bases he's ever used, punchier than its 28 Newton meter rating suggests. Um, as I go down and look at his final verdict, uh, it's more refined rather than just more powerful version of the Evo Pro. It's ideal for those seeking a high torque base that remains fast and responsive without a heavy feeling. Great pricing for the power, improved fidelity, open ecosystem, and the best factory presets yet. The not so good plastic end caps feel a bit cheap, and older wheels may require an adapter for the new pin layout.
Yeah, he also brings us some issues with the QR adapter design. It's got the USB pass through sort of cableless, but where they have it placed is a bit odd. So either you got to try to wire it into the QR, or you're going to have to wrap the cord all around it. Then you're still not cordless. You're just plugging into the QR adapter as opposed to going into a USB port on your computer. So and that got brought up, I think, by somebody else as well.
Yeah, Sarah, she put out her video and she views the Alpha Evo Ultra as an incredible value for those who want a future proof flagship base without the $1,500 price tag of the SimiCube. While the extra torque is largely a marketing differentiator, the open ecosystem and high end tech make it one of the most compelling high torque options on the market. Jack Sir did a video as well. Um, Hey, if you already own the 18 Newton meter Evo Pro or even the 23 Newton meter Alpha Ultimate, he advised against the upgrade as it's an incremental one. And that's a bunch of them, right? So we had one listener in the Discord mention he bought in, I believe. He was already in the ecosystem, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was in the SimMagic ecosystem. I had the 15 Newton meter Alpha. It was good. It just for me, I wanted more headroom. That's why I went with the SimiCube 2 Pro. Look, and that's what you're going to get. No one's going to use 28 Newton meters, but what you do is you get all that extra headroom, and that's important depending on what you want, how you want to run your base. I run a lot of force feedback on my base, so I want the headroom. Look, yeah, SimMagic, I think, has done a good job. SimPro Manager has matured. I think that the program has gotten, the software's gotten very good. One of the knocks was it doesn't have the telemetry stuff in there. My guess is that they're probably working on that, from what I've read, to probably be added. Again, that's a software thing. It's not really a hardware thing. But look, they've talked about this coming out for a while. I think they've done a good job. It's but yeah, even if you've got the alpha, it was a 23 newton meter alpha, but it was the I don't know, alpha ultimate. Yeah, I don't know if another 5 newton meters is going to make that much of a difference. A lot of talk was how smooth it is. Yes, that the high end torque motor, super quick. Um, but again, we're at that point where almost every direct drive unit is good. That
Yeah, you're not going to make a bad choice, really.
No, I mean anything if you're above that 15 newton meters, 18 newton meters and up like that, I don't think you're going to go wrong really with anything. Um, it's just there's yeah, it's really, what do you want? And then again, coming in at basically $1,000. I mean, that's hard to beat compared to the SemiCube threes at what, 1,600. I mean, that's a lot. It's a big difference.
Yeah, sure is. All right, William, how about the GitHub of sim racing?
Yeah, so this is a website called parkferme.cc, and what they say in their Reddit post is they're offering, one, the website is a place to share setups between iRacers. Um, Two, they're offering what they call a version diffing system, to where you can compare two setups to each other. And the example they give is, you made a small tweak and now the car feels worse. What changed between the two setups? I guess you guys put this on the script a while ago and just didn't get to it or something, because I've been looking
Yeah.
at this for a couple weeks. Because I mentioned to Weaver a whole bunch of times I wanted to build this exact program to compare iRacing setups. Personally, I subscribed to several different setup shops, so I wanted to compare them between them to see, what one was doing different from the other. But I mean, this post is 11 days old. I go to the website and I don't see where to do this at. I see where I can upload a setup, and I can browse setups, of which there's only 14 of them on there. But I can't actually use the tool they say is there. So either I'm blind or they're still working on getting it done. Or maybe I
You have
have
to
to
be
upload one.
signed in. I don't know.
I'm signed in. Maybe I have to upload one and then you can do it. But like I said, I'm not going to upload my shop setups to this place. And
Yeah,
there's
that's
nowhere on the website that says don't do that either. So I think they might get in trouble sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that was my concern. Was I'm not sure everybody would gonna want their setup loaded. There's some setup comparers out there, but I think in order to do it, you got to basically go in and export the setup. So,
Yeah, it's really annoying.
somebody, it is. I mean, I don't know why you can't create a tool where I can just take, even if I'm outside the game, setup A, setup B, read the file, and tell me
Sim.
what the difference is.
Outside the
Locally,
sim.
though, I don't want to upload them anywhere.
Right.
I
No,
want
that's
it
what
on
I'm
my
saying.
computer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I ought to be able to, or even if I'm in the game, throw it on my fourth screen, set up A, set up B. What's the difference? Because I'm like you, Will. It's, I'll look at two different ones and I'm like, okay, this one's handling this way. Why? Look, we use Premier Racing setups, and on the Cup side, you get setups from Brandon and you get setups from Scott. They drive differently. I have to do this like back and forth, trying to figure out what's different. It would be nice to be able just to throw one on the screen and go, oh, okay. That's
VRS
what.
does that. VRS shows it what set you're running, and compare them side by side with every adjustment.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to check that out, even though I don't use VRS.
Yeah, I don't use Virus anymore, but okay. Well, thanks, Greg. You may just solve the world's problems.
I'll show you a screenshot afterwards if I get on.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Greg. Listeners, VRS.
All right, moving on to listener Chad McNeese's YouTube video about a DIY belt tensioner, and so he's been talking about this on our Discord channel, and he's got a video showing off how he has put it together. What'd you think, Brad?
This is cool. So Chad is a super helpful guy in the community. I always tell him that because I see him all over the place answer people's questions. So yeah, he's picked up some pieces from somewhere, 3D printed some stuff, and he's actually using the. I love the idea of the belts are actually backpack belts, so they're probably pretty comfortable. um, but yeah, no, this looks really cool. Again, I am not a DIY guy, so I want to be able just to buy it and hook it on. But yeah, Chad went into quite a bit of detail as he's working through the video, and there's actually a second video. I'll try to see if I can grab it and throw it in the script because he actually has. It's a little bit more video of the system working as opposed to him just talking about it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Chad's a very cool guy.
Well, the belt tensioners are so expensive. I mean, oh my gosh. And so see a DIY version of it. Now, this doesn't look heavy duty. I mean, like it's plastic 3D printed part that's tugging on the belt. I presume it's strong enough, but
Yeah, I mean, depending on whatever type of filament you're using. I mean, look, the cup side, they're 3D printing parts for cars. So, I mean, there's some strong filament stuff out there.
yeah, pretty cool. And is Chad the one who has the Google sheet with all the
Yes,
hardware?
that's Chad.
Okay, so that's the most amazing resource. If you need to buy something in the sim racing community, like a wheel or a wheelbase or a rig or a button box or a shifter or anything, he has it on a list, like a Google Sheet list, and he has every one of them, and he has them price and a link and the whole 9 yards. And so, if you're in the market, you can look at this list, and that's how I picked a DDU, basically starting with his list, and you can just go through everything on the list and decide what you want. So if you want his equipment list, just get in the Discord and ask him for it.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably got 10 or 12 tabs that literally breaks out everything. It is probably the best resource when it comes to equipment. I mean, he literally touches base on everything. It is as soon as something comes out, Chad's the first one to get it added. So, fantastic resource, fantastic guy to help the community. Like I said, I find him on all kinds of different community groups on Facebook and in different Discord servers. And again, Chad, shout out to you. I tell you all the time, but we appreciate what you do for the community.
All right, Lightbridge explains SimiCube video on YouTube with the Bavarian SimTech Delta Pro SC wheel. And they talk about this Lightbridge in SimiCube Link technology. And again, instead of a USB pass through, they got this new tech which will pass through some data and some power. And so it's built from the ground up kind of thing. He talks about the integration with the wheels, the build quality. He talks about, you can totally focus on performance and not have to worry about failure. They're trying to, uh, go for a pro style market, professional market, and they just feel like USB is not 100%. So they came up with something different. Look, I like it. If I was buying a wheelbase today, I would probably buy the SemiCube Pro 3 and buy into it.
Yep. So, Bavarian Simtech, they're one of the companies that's partnered with them, to where the Lightbridge technology, and then again, Bavarian's software is going to be included eventually, I guess, um, into the SemiCube softwares too. I mean, it's trying to get basically one piece of software that's going to run everything. Again, they made this decision to go down this road with the ecosystem, and we'll see. Again, a lot of it depends on what manufacturers are going to support it and so forth. But again, you can still You can still use aftermarket wheels. You can still use a USB wheel. You just got to still plug it in the way you've always plugged it in. So, it's just it's different thoughts by different manufacturers. There's a section that are continuing with the USB pass through, as we'll continue to talk as we go through the script, and SemiCube has decided to try something different. I mean, again, right or wrong, that's what they want to do, and that's what they've chosen.
Yeah, and there's something to be said to have all your stuff in one software title. When you mix manufacturers, kind of like I've done, where I have a SemiCube and I have Moza, I'm running both of those behemoth software products at the same time on my PC. I have to, and so if I was richer man, I probably would have got the SemiCube active pedals, and then I would only have one major behemoth software title running instead of two. And so there, that is attractive. Yeah. All right, Will, how about the 10-inch display? Way too big?
You're muted. You're
Yeah, I don't hear
muted.
you.
Why? I did not press a button. So yeah, I would, for me, I think it's too big to put like on my, in front of my wheel or behind my wheel on top of my wheelbase. I've been toying with the idea though of getting like a ram mount and attaching it to the upright beside my wheel and kind of having it out to my right or my left, and running like Danny Newman and Endurance or something on that, like that. So that might be good for it. But besides that, yeah, no. If you're using it as a traditional DDU, I think it's way too big.
Yeah, I think this is ideally to be used the way you said. That's if I was going to do it, that's what I would do. But I did that for a little while. I moved my DDU over there, and I was using Daniel Newman's Racing's Copilot, which is fine. But then I found myself where I was still looking at my overlays in the game and really
Yeah.
not ever looking over at the DDU. So
Sport got
Yeah.
deal. You know it's quality. So I'd out if you want something like that.
Yeah, touch screen. It's kind of a 4:3 ratio. So I feel like it's too tall for a dash, really, to be right above your wheel. Um, but yeah, he has a lot of good stuff. Look, I love my DDU from Sim Sport Gadget, 8-inch ultra wide. I think they call it. Um, and I can't speak enough about the quality and the value of it. It's been great. All right, Greg, you want to pick up Sim Labs DDS is being finalized.
Uh, so I guess is this the quick release? Or their release?
Yeah, they're showing it off. Yeah.
this is the whole wheelbase.
The wheelbase.
The whole wheelbase. Okay, that's okay. I've never actually seen how SimLabs does theirs. I'm just used to my Moza, but that's a cool quick release system. So have they done? They're just finalizing everything. They haven't put any dates on it, have they?
No, they're getting ready for pre-order. So we've been talking about this wheelbase for
A year now, right?
Yeah, over a year.
Yeah.
We tried. They had some demos at the Sim Gaming Expo. Felt good. Stood and talked with Richard. Yeah, for probably 30 minutes about it. So it's been a slow process, but it looks like they're getting closer. So we got a couple hits here on Instagram. A little video just showing I love the quick release. I think it's fantastic looking. The one thing that's unique with them is the wheel side is going to be very inexpensive, as opposed to like what we've seen with SemiCube, where theirs is rather expensive. I mean, even the wheel side for the SemiCube 2 Pro is in SemiCube 2 is expensive. This is going to be a little bit cheaper. It's going to offer USB pass through. But then we got a second Instagram post here where you can kind of click through and you can read some of the information in regarding to how they work through it, some of their philosophies, stuff like that. Look, I have no doubt this is going to be good. They had it at the Sim Racing Expo in Germany. Was some feedback on there. They were still chasing some software stuff per se. But yeah, we'll see. So hopefully this is going to be out here soon. And again, just like any of the rest of them, I mean, they'll get these out to the people we trust. And I'm curious to see, what it's going to be. So if you're, I think this is kind of the last big one we've been looking for. So if you're still in the direct drive market, if you can wait, I think you wait and see how this looks. Look, we know SimLabs is going to put out a good quality product. They always do. So if you can wait a little bit longer, this just gives you another option. Um, you know, it will give you another option, especially on the high end level.
A good option. It'll be a good
Yeah,
option.
I think it'll be a good option.
I think when we tried these at the Sim Gaming Expo last fall, this was I definitely walked away feeling like this was one of the bases to have.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I did. I got on their rigs a couple times and tried it on the oval side, tried it on the road side, and I felt really good. So, I mean, I know talking with Richard, they were really hoping for a. I mean, he was even talking, yeah, a Q4 or early Q1 release. But hey, I'd rather him take the time and get it right, as opposed to rush anything. I mean, of course.
All right, I got Heiskenveld 1 long-term review. This is that space age looking formula wheel from Heiskenveld that Brad wasn't really a fan of the look of. And Lawrence Desoswa does his long-term review of this. And final verdict concludes that while the Heiskenveld 1 isn't a supermodel in terms of looks and the buttons can feel a bit basic, it is a genius piece of kit for performance-oriented sim racers. It is particularly effective for those using wheelbases with under 12 newton meters of torque, and its size and weight maximize that motor's output. It's approximately $500. And look, the thing that jumps out about this wheel to me is what I think Will Ford said from Boosted Media, that the angle of the grip is different than every other wheel.
Instead of your hand being like this, you end up with this funky angle. And he said he had wrist pain from it. So, look, like I said, huge Husenfeld fanboy, shifter, pedals, love them. Just this is not for me. That it's 270 millimeters, which is itty bitty. But again, if you're somebody who's smaller in stature, smaller hands, this is probably fine. The VR side, we've heard reviewers that said, the way everything is, it's super easy. I get it. Just it's not for me.
Now, I was kind of expecting Lawrence's video to talk about the angle of the grip that Will Ford had talked about, but he didn't mention it. I mean, he didn't say anything about it. All right, Will, here's another DDU, 7.8 inch. What do you think of this?
Is this the screen that one of our listeners posted in Discord talking about this week?
No, I think that was a different one.
Okay.
They were going to do a 3D print holder for some kind of cheap 70 euro display. This is a
All
little
right.
different. This is
Yeah, so
that
this
Corsair display, right?
okay, yeah, that was the one that was in Discord. This one's Sim Race Mods, 7.8-inch V-Core display. It looks fairly nice. And then TikTok just screwed me over, Mike. I can't I clicked on it and it disappeared. Um, so I will let you take it because now I have no info.
Yeah, it's
Well,
yeah. I mean, 3D printed case. It's no RPM light, no LEDs or anything like that. If you're looking for something that's going to be, you could use this as a dash. This is very similar to what Mike's got. There's certain things you're going to give up. You're going to give up the LEDs. Save a little bit of money. That's really the only use I can see this for. It being as wide as it is, I'm not sure I'd want to have it to try to use it as a secondary screen. Set off to the left or the right. But yeah, to me, the whole purpose of a DDU is one, the screen. For me, the other is like Mike said, it's the LEDs. So you having the rev lights. That's the biggest thing that I like. And yes, I use the dash. I look at the dash, but it's the rev lights that is particularly to me what's important.
yeah, and the lights I have the LEDs on the sides and on along the top of the DDU. They do iFlag stuff. They do spotter stuff. So there's a guy on the left. They start flashing on the left. I mean, they do all this cool programming. So it is pretty cool. Okay, Brad, how about pro profiles for Stream Deck?
Yep, came across this video. I don't remember which one of us found it, but saw it. So this is for Stream Deck XL and for the MK, which is just your normal 15 button. Um, so this is these are profiles. There's a cost for this, but it's a nice looking layout. You know, they have some predetermined layouts that you can just load up. You know, a lot of the iRacing stuff that we've got, you know, is good. It doesn't look super clean, but it works. So this is a much cleaner version. You know, and the nice thing with this, just like with iRace IT and then IR Deck, a lot of the programming is already built in. So you go through your Stream Deck, you know, you want to do change right side tires, you drag that button in there. The default commands are already associated with it, so you don't have to go back in and reprogram stuff. I did look at this. It looks good. I just, you know, I'm happy with some of the ones that I've used. Just there's some free packs out there, and even I use iRace IT. I have IR Deck. I think it's IR Deck loaded into. I've used a little bit of that, but yeah, if you want to pay a little bit more, I think it's about $12 or so. You get a little bit cleaner looking, you know, your icons and stuff like that. Lots of options, and it's good. Just I'm not willing to pay the few bucks that it is.
Right. There's a lot of free options, and so I'm the same way. I don't think I need this. The free options seem to be just fine. All right, William, how about this one? Vero Motion Belt Tensioner. Vero.
Yeah, Vero Motion. We've talked about them doing the motion sims. Sorry, I'm scrolling back down. They have teased on Instagram, I believe, a belt tensioner now, and it says they're going to make it accessible to more iRacers than ever. So I'm assuming this is going to be uh, at or below the $2,800 or the $1,800 price tag that the what's the name of the one that I want?
Cubic.
Yeah, Cubic Systems one is. Who knows? It's not on their website yet, and this little Instagram post is the only teaser we've got. But it looks like we're going to be getting another player in the system. And that can only be good.
It
Yeah,
doesn't look cheap.
well, yeah, but Vero has been a little bit on the a little bit less less expensive side. So, yeah, look, this is you know, I know we've talked about these and the thought that you need this with motion, but watching some reviews, it seems like this may be an alternative to motion. As I've said, I don't think I ever want to go motion. But yeah, this is kind of on the radar at some point. The only thing I'd had to do is I'd end up having to replace my seat because I do not have a crotch spot for it to come up through. Um, but yeah, maybe on the wish list in
Only
a year.
takes a hacksaw.
You definitely need the submarine belt that comes up through the crotch
Well,
because
that's what I
that
said.
holds everything down. Because
Yeah, I
these
know.
belts
Yeah,
are pull up. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, that's what I said. My seat does not have doesn't have
Okay.
that option. So, but yeah, I think the belts may be something down the road, maybe a year or two from now. We'll see.
Yeah, it looks nice from the pictures for sure. All right, next up, I got VRS and Asher have put together an Instagram post basically saying something amazing coming very soon. Time to level up your sim racing experience. Sorry, and they tease like a silhouette of a Formula wheel. Uh, so, what do you think? I mean, Asher has always put out really good wheels, high end, and then and then VRS. I mean, so what do you think? They're going to do a package. You get the VRS wheelbase with an Asher wheel, maybe.
Looks like the McLaren wheel just rebranded with VRS versus McLaren.
You can almost see the VRS logo on the silhouette
No,
of the wheel,
you can see it, and it looks just like the McLaren wheel.
right? Okay, well there you go. Okay, Greg, how about Simpson SQ Pro Shifter?
So we got a Instagram post from the Simpson official page. So I guess we got is a quick glimpse here of the precision shift. What are they? Tactile proof. all new SQ Pro shifter, so it's just a sequential shifter.
Yep.
It looks cool. It kind of reminds me of like a drag racing kind of shifter with the way it's kind of set up there.
Narrow footprint for mounting. I like that. And if you look closely, there's a blue with blue stripes. There's a rumble pack on it.
Yeah, it's got a built-in haptics, so this is interesting
That's kind of
for our
cool.
listeners. So, yeah, it's got a haptic attached to it, so that's going to give you a little bit of tactile feedback. It's got the RGB lights at the bottom. I don't understand what's the fascination with this ridiculous RGB lighting everywhere. I hope to gosh you could turn that off because that would drive me bat crap crazy.
I mean, could it work for like the cautions and stuff like that? Like, could you tie it in that maybe?
I
That'd
don't
be
know.
cool.
Maybe you could, but I don't know. Yeah. So this is. I mean, it looks very similar to some of the other ones we've seen. Simpson is not obviously not ashamed to to rip off some stuff. I guess that's a polite way to say it.
Yeah, I mean
Copy.
their pedals are definitely copies of others, and so this almost looks like a unique design, but similar to other stuff we've seen. Yes. Okay, and so I guess you talked about Vero, William. Let's talk about them again. We got now the Motion Legend 6 DOF.
Well, it's a little, yeah, 6DOF. It's a platform though, so you can add it to any VeroMotion 3DOF system to make it 6DOF. So I guess their idea is you could go with a 3DOF first, and then if you think you like it, upgrade it for the same price. I'm not really sure. I'm not up to date on Motion.
Well, you could. So if you've got their motion, their traditional, the D box style 3DOF. Take that, then now you set it on top of this platform, and now you've got yaw and you've got
Yeah.
everything
So
else.
yeah, I guess it's yeah, upgrade if you want to. Take it one at a time, and it's not going to cost you any more than if you just bought the 6DOF to begin with.
What if I had another motion system from another company? Could I just put this underneath it? Probably.
Maybe,
I don't
but
know.
I wouldn't count on it.
You'd have to find a way for because it looks like it has a specific mounts for that one. You'd have to keep it from trying to slide off of it, right?
Well, that and
Yeah,
I would think you'd want all your
software.
motion. Yeah, your software, all your motion needs to coincide, so it wouldn't. Yeah, that could be an issue. I
So you don't
think.
want your Moza motion with that.
Oh, what we're gonna wait on Moza motion for now.
Does Moza become a hardware where we stop talking about like Fanatec?
I hope not. All right, let's keep rolling. This is the Corsair display I was thinking of, and so we have Carl Gosling doing a review of this. And Corsair has put out this Xenon Edge, a 14.5-inch ultra wide touchscreen, uh, digital dashboard, secondary monitor. Uh, Unbelievably, it comes with a lot of good dashes, like already built in, kind of thing that he was kind of reviewing at a price of only $220. Reasonable, high build quality, software flexibility. What do you guys think?
I think.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
I just
I
don't know
guess.
where I put it.
Yeah, that's my thing. I mean, the only thing I could think would be good for is if I could figure out a way to put it to like, I don't know. I mean, if you're a streamer and you need to have Discord or you want to have your chat and all that stuff on a separate screen, maybe. From a sim racing aspect, I can't think of anything to use it for other than, like I said, if I wanted to get my, I don't know, Discord or something like that onto another screen. It's I know you can do vertical. That's what I would probably use it for in that case. I can't think of any other options for sim racing.
Is it?
I don't know.
Sorry, William. Is it? Is this a bigger version of the one we saw at the Sim show? Because the one booth had one, right?
No, this is brand new.
But there is a bigger version of that one, isn't it?
It might be.
Yeah, this thing's huge. massive.
The only difference is you see that when he's showing the cable, it's not the longest cable to try and run things to a PC if you have it somewhere farther away in your system.
Well, you just buy another cable.
I guess, yeah.
It's like a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. I mean, do we need this?
Well, what
Yeah.
would you say?
I use a tablet for my stuff, so it's kind of the same thing, right?
All right, Brad, the Moza motion and AI. So we want to talk more about this.
All right. So we kind of hit this real quick last week, but we did find we've gotten a few more uh, Instagram posts here from Moza official. Then it was at the GDC, something like that. I think it's what it is. Was in Atlanta, and then we've got another hit for here from OC Racing. So was out at the San Francisco and tested this. So the motion platform supposedly delivers up to 300 milliseconds, and then more than 1 G of force. He said he did feel precise, no noticeable lag, no issues as far as heat and stuff. I mean, he talks in the video about, these things were running 8 hours a day. Again, we have no pricing yet. From the motion side, I think it's fine. Okay, let's see what happens. He did note, we did see Moza branding on the chassis. Moza says they are not creating cockpits, so that's just I guess for the shows, it was where they had the Moza branding. Um, but then he does talk quite a bit about this AI training tool, and then to offer hand-on coaching. So unlike traditional data-only platforms, the software can physically move your Moza wheelbase and pedals, and will mimic the exact inputs of pro drivers. Um,
That is so cool, by the
and,
way. They're
and
watching a video of that.
I get that, but I'm trying to understand how that's going to help me. Unless do I sit and like lightly hold the wheel and understand?
Right. You just lay
Yeah,
your hands on it and let it
that
steer for you.
that does. Yeah, that's no, 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 no.
No, no, like it'll teach me not to overdrive not to turn
How
the
is
wheel
that going
too
to teach?
much,
How is that going to teach you, Mike? How's that going to
Well,
teach
I don't know. It looks cool though. I was
you?
like in the chat going,
I
I need a Moza base just so I can do this.
that's it looks completely gimmicky, but okay. I guess the one thing it is neat with the Moza AI motion software, they're saying even if the sim does not support telemetry and stuff like that, that the AI can translate. They were showing like with explosions and gunshots and stuff like that, and even out of non-telemetry games. And then we've got a couple Instagram posts here where you can actually see some of the motion stuff going on. We've got the one with the AI showing the pedals and the steering wheel moving, and then we've got a Instagram post here, with the motion, capturing all that. So again, it's all about a price point. I'm sure they're going to come in probably cheaper than some. Um, like I said, my biggest concerns with Mosa is the software and some of the issues that you've had, and then you say you've been on the Discord, and it's seems to be a hot mess at times. And yeah, I don't if I ever decide to do motion, I am it's buy once, cry once. I will spend the money to do it right. There's certain things I just don't think that you need to try to find the cheapest option.
Well, it's a good point. And so I'm going to digress here a little bit and talk about my Moza issue. So last week I bought these mounting plates for the active pedals, the Moza active pedals, and from a place called Focus Racing. And they're great. I love they're really thin. They were perfect for the perfect design. It's what Moza should have did to begin with, where there's slots where you can basically mount them on any pedal tray. So anyway, love them. And so I was happy to pay Focus Sim Racing for those. Um, but as I rewired the front end and rebuilt the pedal tray to accommodate, I of course unplugged and removed the active pedals. And as I put everything back together, the throttle power supply would not light up. It has an LED on it. No bueno. I of course, because I have two of everything, was able to troubleshoot, mix and match, UPC cord, power supplies, pedals, uh, move the USB from one to the other, and figure out it's the power supply. It's not powering up. I don't know what went wrong. I went on Facebook. Somebody said, "Oh, there's probably a blown fuse in there. Open it up and you can replace it." But I don't want to void the warranty. Working with Moza support, they are truly in China. I am working with people in China on this. The communication is pretty lax, but the last thing I think I did a thing Monday night to get started, and now we're Thursday, and I think it was last night they said they're moving it to shipping, is what they said. So it appears that they're going to replace it and they're going to ship me one.
I,
So I'm waiting for it.
can I ask a question?
Yeah,
How long have you had the throttle?
I bought it December 15th.
Did you check with Micro Center where you bought it and see what the warranty was there?
They don't have one. Moza's, it's, I think from all of them, it's just Moza, isn't it, Mike?
I didn't. I assumed that Micro Center wouldn't help me with it.
Yeah,
But-
not unless
but it's
you
a good
they
point.
they do an extended warranty you can buy it, but otherwise you got to go back to manufacturer.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I
Oh,
thought.
all right. I was just curious. I was just, was like, did you think about? I don't know what the return was, but dude, that's really weird that you would. I mean, you'd lose a power supply that's only what 4 months old. That's crazy.
And you've
I
tried
don't know what it is.
everything, right?
I have, yeah. And so I'm waiting for that. And so the debate was, okay, do I try to revert back to the Simpson pedals so I can race? And I decided not to. I decided at this point I'm going to wait because I'm just lazy. I already rebuilt it for these active pedals. I'm not going to redo everything again. I'm out of USB holes. That's another problem. I probably got to buy a bigger USB port um, hub. But yeah, so I'm not racing right now.
You can never have enough USB ports, man. Just get big, big, big hubs. Lots of power.
I regret not getting a bigger one for sure. I bought one that had 7 with data and 3 for power for a total of 10, and it's not enough.
Did so you're gonna have to wait for them to send you the stuff to come from China to send it back to China, for then you to get it back from China fixed or a new one.
I don't know. I don't know if they're sending me materials to ship it back first, or are they sending me one and then I ship back the old one? See, that's the lack of communication part of it with dealing with a company from China. They just told me fill out this ticket thing, and I mean not even a sentence of communication.
Definitely sounds like Fanatic.
Yeah.
Or
So so look, it's been odd not having the sim rig to step into and run after work and after dinner, and so I'm such in a routine. It's kind of neat to break my routine actually, and so I'm just not going to race for a week or two or however long this will be. Look, if I get desperate, I'll break out the Simpson pedals and figure it out. But for now, I'm not racing.
Mike, it says I don't know if you've read this, but the Mazda RMA items typically go to Mazda Service Center in China. Through some resellers offer local, but that's if you have the extended. Customers must usually cover shipping costs to the repair facility, after which Moza fixes or replaces the unit and covers the return shipping cost.
if it's a power supply, I would hope they would just send him a new power supply. That should be an easy fix.
And it appears that's what they're doing. I mean, it said it was sent to shipping, something like that.
Let's hope that they got a good customer service and it's not like Fanatec's.
But I think I found a drawback to having active pedals. They can fail. Look, if I had hydraulics or load cells, I'd still be racing, right? They don't fail.
Yes, they do.
I mean,
Everything
can still
fails.
Everything can fail, yes.
Like the problem with load cell is it's the what do they call it, the thing inside gets dirty and you start jumping around, it starts jumping around, and not reading correctly. You used to have just normal
But
pedals. They
yes, but
break, the springs break.
yeah, Heil sensors and all that stuff. But the one thing that you do get with non-electric stuff like that is most of these things are rated for millions of thousands and hundreds of thousands of um,
Cycles.
inputs or cycles, whatever you want to say. And it's yeah, but I mean, look, Mike, it could happen on anything. It's what it is.
Now, just to go here before we do, like, I'm not gonna. We're. I'm an avid uh, supporter of my sim coach pedals. He stands behind his product. If you have a problem, if you can diagnose it, he'll send you the part, you fix it, and then you send the part back to him. He's a US guy from, I believe he's still in Las Vegas. So that's kind of like, you kind of look for a company like that kind of takes care of you. And he's a small company, but, lifetime warranty on it for, I guess, until his business is open, right?
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was a drawback when I bought these Moza Chinese pedals, and I'm living it right now. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm just going to be patient. Look, I don't need to race. I love to race, but I'm going to just ride this one out and see how it goes.
But you're
Now let's
dropping
talk
you're
results.
dropping in the points, aren't you, Mike?
Yeah, I don't care. It's all right. The only one I cared about was our Tifosi Cup points, but we have drop weeks. Let's talk results. We're going to start with Friday Open NIS at Vegas. David Hall, P19, happens again. Get taken out by a car who can't hold his line. When it's three wide he's off pace. Other than a Coda race, I have been wrecked every single NIS race. Tony Rochette, something, caught in a wreck, got stuck 3 laps down. Brad, P20.
Yep, wrecked again. So another race that I spent about 20%, about 80% of the time in the top 5 to 10. Only to get wrecked late in the race. We had a stack up on a restart, kind of caused a huge backup. So one point we were about 5 wide. I backed out of it just to try to stay safe. Um, and then eventually only end up getting collected in somebody else's crap. So it's yeah, the first couple weeks of NAS were fantastic, great results, and it's yeah, it hadn't been fun since.
All right, Tony Rochette, Sunday Open, P30 something. On this week of 1023 ways to be wrecked, a Red Bull car wrecked a Logano car that I was going to miss till said Logano car jerked his wheel to the right and ended my night. Brad, P27.
Yeah, wrecked again. So another race, just running the top 5 to 10, and then again just to get collected in somebody else's mess. So this was caused by a driver that was laying back and
Oh
jumping
yeah,
every single
we
restart.
were in the
So
same race.
yep, this one he managed to pass about 8 cars and drove up into turn one, and then just decided that, hey, I'm up here. I'm going to come down about 2 lanes. Well, the problem was there was 2 cars below him. So this ended up collecting about 8 of us. Again, too much damage, stays done. I did protest him, and then I went through the race and grabbed about 3 of the most egregious restarts. As examples, I received the normal response from the stewards, which tells me that nothing happened because he was racing later that day. So again, it's just this is the stuff that's frustrating. When you go back and you look, and it's not somebody getting a great restart. You can watch the guy literally just hanging back and then throttling up well before the green flag. So as soon as the green flag drops, he's already to the outside, or halfway up by the to the car beside him or ahead of him on the right hand side, and it's just yeah, it's super super frustrating.
Well, and if you go for the block, you're wrecked anyways too. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
When it's that egregious and you take the time to do 3 replays and then you protest it and then you realize that he's still racing, it kind of makes you don't want to bother protesting.
I look, I don't know. I wrestle with this because I can complain about it and do nothing and continue to complain about it, or I can try to do something about it. I don't know what the best option is. it does no good for us all to complain if we're not going to take the time to report people for doing stupid things. And I don't know if that's right or wrong. At times I feel where it's what we should do as a group, and then when nothing's done, I feel the opposite. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just wasting my, maybe I'm wasting my time. I don't know.
It
Well, maybe
deter-
we need to look at it like 3 strikes in a row, or 3 strikes you're out. Like you've given him 1 strike maybe against him, and then if he does it next time, then maybe something will happen.
I just think it just deters people from doing it, and then it helps iRacing that way and not have as many protests, but it's not helping the sim become a better community to race in.
Look,
Yeah,
if it's egregious, like the word egregious means it multiple times and definitely on purpose, they should be set down. There should not be a coaching on that.
I agree. And again, we never know what exactly happens, but I don't know. I mean, I would think that if it was me, I'd probably get sat down. It's just the way I think it would happen. It's just the way it is, and I don't know. If we do nothing, then do people just continue to drive that way? And yeah, I don't know.
All right, Greg, you had a P19.
Yeah, Brad and I were in the same race. I got wrecked, or in a wreck early, and what did I? Something like 7.5 minutes of damage, and we had so many cautions. I was able to get all the damage fixed. I felt like Blaney the other week at how many cars he passed. I came from the back like probably 4 or 5 different times because every time I'd make a couple positions, caution come out, and then I'd go down pit road and start in the back again. And there was a comment I think Brad said at one point. He's like, "We've had so many cautions, nobody went a lap down for I don't know the first 100 laps."
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the first lucky dog was like, yeah. At least we got past the lap 100. It was
It's
ridiculous.
crazy. And then I finally got it all fixed, got back through the field, and I was competing for a top 5, and a guy and I were kind of side drafting pretty hard, and net code slash just too close. It kind of just hooked each other into the wall, and it started a whole thing. You feel like you get those know-it-all people in those rooms that just say, "Hey, look, you right hooked it, and you did that on purpose." And it's like you got like 10 laps to go. We were racing hard. I'm not angry. It didn't sound like the other guy's angry, but everybody else in that wreck, that one person gets collected, and it's the end of the world.
All right, Kyle Pendergraph, P5. I'm going to jump ahead in his description here. Lap 105 raced a guy for 12th and took the high line into 3, and he just didn't check up or attempt to turn and knock me in the left rear. I'm able to save it, but fell back to P21 and had to fight my way forward again, getting up to 10 with 2 laps to go. A caution falls after a 40-lap run. Pit for tires and splash fuel, come out 17th. Restart and leader Rex taking the green, triggering our second green white checker, and I move up to 14th. Restart again, and turn 1, 3 drivers wreck, moving up to 11th, and then third green white checker, restart, and it stays clean. I just focus on running the bottom and squeeze a couple cars to end up with a nice P5.
I feel like
I
that's if you.
ran
Sorry, Mike. I feel like that's the way Kyle wrote that, is as if you got AI or Chat GPT to describe your race.
a little lengthy, yeah. Sunday fixed, I ran P24. I actually got wrecked in an incident around lap 30. Car was never the same, slow, and just limped it around forever. I eventually got a drive-through penalty on the final green-white checker P24. Darlington, Justin Pearson, P1. He said, got a couple lucky cautions, winner, winner, chicken dinner. David Hall, P22, started in the pits, thinking, of course, there will be a caution. We go 60 laps. I never get my lap back until about 30 to go on a wave around and get the passing under yellow BS until, even though I never passed anyone. Additionally, first run, I ran a guy down. A car in front of us is rolling, but it's on the slower side. I hold my lane to use him as a pick, and the car on the outside intentionally doors me out of the way. I warn him that when I get back to him, his best move out of the way. He didn't, so I ran him hard into turn 1 and gave himself 4 minutes of damage on the wall. Why even fight someone for a position when they have to run you down from starting in the pits? then hit them on purpose, and then refuse to not continue to fight for a position, you're going to lose. And I just watched the replay. I didn't even drift up, but he's a talentless hack. Okay, hey, that's a title idea. Talentless hack who can't run side by side and put himself in the wall. Brad, P34.
Yeah, here's the pattern. Wrecked again. So running the top side, running in the top 10. We were on a long run, same race. David, Justin, and I were all in the same race. I think we were about about 40-ish or so. So yeah, and I'd run a guy down from multiple seconds back. Just I why you can't race the track, and you know 4 or 5 laps of continuing to get underneath him and get underneath him, and he chopped me and chopped me and get underneath him, he chopped me, and finally coming through 1 and 2, I got to run. He got in the wall, getting into 1, so I got up underneath him, coming off 2, and I've given him plenty of room, and he hits the exit, hits the wall, the exit of 2, and that shoots him to the left, and he doors me, and that puts me on about a 45-degree angle to the inside wall. There's no way to, I just couldn't stop the car. Clobbered the left front, too much damage, we're done. So yeah, just very, very frustrating, but glad for Justin. Justin is super fast at Darlington. He always is. So we were running nose to tail for most of that first run, and it's good. It's fun. Just just a lot of bad luck.
Yeah, but you know what? Justin won. Somebody's winning these races.
He did, and I gave him I gave him a bunch of praise. So yeah, no, he did. I'm glad for him. Very proud of him.
Adam Jocelyn back running with us after a long dry spell. He started 35th, fourth with 13 to go, and spun the tires on the restart and spun. Got back to 11th. Feels good after a couple of years off driving this car to be competitive out of the gate. Welcome back, Adam. Thursday Open, David Hall wrecked. Car sideways, no chance. 17 in a row now at NIS. A Open, Brad at Darlington P18.
Yeah, sorry. Let me get back on here. Yeah, ran 2 races. So first race of the week started off great, running P3, get a long green flag run, and we have green flag pit stops. So I'm like, woohoo, this is going to be great. Only to have a yellow come out right in the middle of pitting, so which trapped a bunch of us a lap down. I was able to get the wave by, and a bunch of us did. But then coming to 1 to go, so I get the way by, and by the time I catch up, we're coming to the green, and as I'm coming into turn 4, the spotter starts yelling at me, "Let the 3 car by! Let the 3 car by!" I'm like, "Where the hell is the 3 car?" Well, the 3 car's coming out of the pits. Whatever. So get myself and probably 6 other guys all get black flagged for passing under the yellow. Race ruined. I don't know. At some point, they'll fix the race control. I hope. We'll see. And then run. Let's see. That was Monday. Run Tuesday night. Top split. Running about 13th. Making a green flag stop, and I screwed up and sped coming into the pits. 40-second hold. Race ruined. Only good thing was I could blame that one on myself. That was nobody's fault, but mine. So
That's the hardest track to do a green flag pit stop on, in my opinion.
it is. It's super hard, and I don't.
It doesn't turn left.
It doesn't. But where I got it was just I was just trying to get too much, and yeah, it's just I don't know.
All right, let's talk leagues, grassroots racing. William, a nice P10.
Yeah, so we started season 7 on Tuesday night of our GTP GT3 league. We ended up having 46 cars, I think, which is a good turnout. Silverstone first track, not the greatest here. I have pace, but I just can't find those last few tenths. Something's not clicking with me on the track. So surprised myself though, and actually qualified 5th. And we have some fast people in there right now. Made it through a horrible start because when you set this session up, iRacing won't let you do a full parade lap, and that means on the short lap, the GT3s basically start in that hairpin chicane right before the start finish line. It's awful. Um, you know what? I was on the first lap, made it through all that junk on the first lap. We're coming around turn 6. I don't respect the cold tires and get on the gas too hard and send it right into the outside wall. This was weird. I like to think that I mean, I say I'm not the fastest guy out there, and I don't think I am, but I do think I've gotten fairly good at car control and not doing stupid stuff like this. I just never felt it. I know what I did. I got on the gas too early. I just never felt the car, the rear end start to go. And by the time I did, it was way too late. Small hit, got wheel damage, was able to make it to the pit window without having to pit early, but I did lose a ton of time because of the wheel damage. Got back up to 10th after everybody cycled through the pit and passed some AMs on pace, but overall, just a pretty miserable night for me.
Okay, let's jump into final thoughts. Greg Hectus.
Looking forward to running Darlington this weekend with you guys. I'm hoping it's a good race. I haven't gotten any laps on it yet, but we'll see what we can do. I'm also probably going to run IndyCar at St. Pete's. That's going to be fun. Hopefully Tom and I can do that. And then I guess the following weekend we're doing the 12 hours of Sebring, so that'll be good for the teams. But I'm just looking forward to some more racing and just having some fun again.
All right, Brad Wren, final thought.
Just really frustrated with the NIS. I'm not frustrated with the cautions and stuff like that. I'm frustrated with the luck I've had. So, I was telling Greg before we started the show, it's, the only, I just keep saying, look, you're right in the top 5 to 10 every single week. So speed is there, pace is there. Just got to get some luck. Silly things keep happening. Shout out to PRS. Freaking setups have been fantastic. The long run speed at Darlington is insane. Super good. Justin and I were just mowing them down as the run was going on. So again, big shout out to them. But yeah, so just try to find a little solace that it's not like I'm running in 25th every week and then getting wrecked. It's I'm in the top 10 every single week. It's just got to put a whole race together. So again, try to find some bright spots. It's not fun to get wrecked, and it's not fun to get caught up with stupid penalties and stuff like that. But it is what it is. It's I didn't have to rebuild a race car for real. I didn't have to doing that stuff. I got to restart, and guess what? I'll take another shot at it on Friday. And if if I lose some iRating, I've lost some iRating. It's it'll come and go, and we're here to have fun. So that's what I'm trying to tell myself. I'm not going to get all mental about it as I've done in the past. It's very easy to do, and I'm not going to do it this time. So there you go.
That's a good perspective. I mean, you got to remember, you can run it again. It's not a big deal. We're doing this for fun. Let it roll off your back. This is a fun hobby, and let's keep it that way. Some of the negative, some of our team goes negative with all these wrecks, and it's just not the right path. You just got to change the mindset. All right, William, final thought.
Yeah, so work and life in general has kept me off the rig more than I want. The rig and the podcast, honestly, more than I would have liked. That race at Silverstone in the league, I think that maybe our mech race is the only races I've done in the past 3 weeks or so. So hopefully I'll get a lot more time on the rig pretty soon. My season recap was pretty pathetic. I think I only had 8 starts the entire season. So hopefully I'll change that going forward, and I'll be back on here a lot more often.
Nice. Okay, my final thought. Yeah, self-imposed racing break is where I'm at. Look, I do this a lot. I've been racing for 13 years. I can't remember a time where the rig has been down besides when I built it. And so uh, it's not a big deal for me to take a little break. And it is kind of out of my comfort zone and kind of wondering what to do with myself. I look around the house and I'm like, okay, I guess maybe I should clean or do something like that. But hey, we'll wait for it. We're hope Moza will be a great customer service company, and we'll get that power supply soon, and we'll be hopeful. And with that, we'll see you on the track later. All right, title ideas. We got 5.